Yo, yo. What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's your homie, Lanier Gasoline. I just popped in. I had something I wanted to share with y'all, right? I don't know if y'all caught this new Terrance Howard interview. Hold on. Let me pull it up real quick for y'all. Anyway, Terrance Howard, he had
Dr. You, if you're back there,
he had an interview
please.
with
Dr. You.
hold on, let me see this guy's name because he did a real good interview. It's the PBD podcast. It's basically this person's name. Damn, I had memorized the name and now I forgot it. Anyway, what I want to say is, boy, Terrance Howard might be a genius. I don't know, man. The stuff he's saying that he actually is finding out, I don't know. They've been kind of hard on him about it. So I'm gonna let y'all check out a couple clips of the interview, man. And if y'all can, make sure y'all check this out. It's Valuetainment, and it's called the PBD Podcast. It's probably gonna go crazy right now, but anyway, he had Terrance Howard on there, and you know, the last time Terrance Howard was on there, it caused it had got a lot of attention, basically. So hold on, I want y'all to check this out.
Introducing your background, your experience, what you've worked on.
Watch this.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me on. And it's great.
Terrance wants to fix the.
He's a
Watch
professional.
this.
Guys that are, I love type in right.
Yes. My name is Weiping Yu.
Okay.
I'm currently was employed by federal government, NASA.
Okay.
So I'm the physics based on the training. I have a PhD in engineering physics.
So
And
this
I
is someone who
have
actually
fundamental
works for
research.
NASA. He's on the panel with Terrance now. He actually works for NASA. So this can't be like no, when he was on Joe Rogan, they were saying Joe Rogan ain't give him enough pushback. They were saying that what Terrance Howard was saying was some bullshit. I don't know now. Now he's on the panel, face to face with a real NASA expert. Hold on.
Have you guys spoken before? Have you guys met
Yes,
before?
Eric Winding called me. So we were talking about it on the phone for about 15, 20 minutes while I was traveling in California.
Okay. And did you have a chance to watch the exchange with, Terrance and Eric Weinstein on the Joe Rogan podcast?
Yes, briefly.
Watch this.
Okay.
Watch this. This guy, he already laced. He mentioned his credentials and stuff like that, like what he does for a living, like what makes him qualified. Now, Terrance Howard got some documents with him. You see the paper they holding up? He got some
What
documents.
was your impression from you hearing the exchange between Eric and what Terrance was discussing? Was there anything where you said there's some credibility to what Terrance is saying here? I don't know if I agree with him, because you would be to the marketplace. You're part of the establishment, scientists, you've gone through the school and you've gone a different route than he has. What was your impression of the exchange between the two?
I know one of the focuses on the statement, Terrance made by 1 times 1 equals 2.
Yes.
And I believe a lot of focus on this statement. In my view,
So basically, Terrance Howard is saying that mathematics, I don't think his exact words was it's a myth, but he was like, it's misleading because mathematics is missing something. Hold on. He about to
of course, on my conventional view, I would disagree with your statement. However, I notice, the definition of 1 time multiply 1 is different between traditional class than in Terrance's talking. He's bring another dimension. Okay, bring another dimension, 3-dimensional or some kind of things into this one. So I believe the difference is.
Y'all heard what he said, right? He said traditional mathematics. So is there 2 kinds of mathematics? See, now people said Terrance Howard was on some bullshit. But here we have a professional saying that his argument against traditional mathematics is true. So why are they teaching it to us? Watch
is probably the definition and the model in our own mind the difference.
Right.
I do not believe fundamentally some kind of difference. If we have more time discuss the detail, but not on the setting.
Yeah, no. And what I'm doing I'm contrasting the
Listen to what he said. It might, this for high level thinkers now, but caught my attention. I'm just sharing it with y'all.
linear projection and attempt to multiply linearly, just repeating, in comparison to multiplying volumetrically. So you're right in adding dimensions. And these necessary dimensions are dimensions that you exist in. Nothing exists in a two-dimensional space. Even a three-dimension, like you talk about one dimension, two dimensions, those things are not, you cannot measure them until it has height, width, and depth. So it all becomes basically imaginary as far as the real world goes until it has at least the three dimensions of height, width, and depth. And then it needs your.
So I don't know if y'all heard that, but is he saying that the mathematics system that they taught us is imaginary? That's what it sounds like. Hold on, he about to explain.
Fourth perspective in order to be able to measure it. So when they're talking about one and two dimensional things, I'm just looking at, okay, another imaginary thing, because it has to be in motion. It has to have width. It has to have depth in order for us to be able to consider it. But they consider two-dimensional space, or our mathematics, is all based on reductionary attempts to reduce things, living things, down to dead things.
Doctor, you
Yes.
read the white paper. You read all the papers here that he sent, right? We sent you yesterday.
I don't know. if you
Flip
got to
through.
read all
No,
of it.
I don't.
hope you throw them into the AI, because I'm
No.
like, this is a lot of stuff.
Did you have a chance to look through some of it?
Yes.
Okay. What's your impression of what Terrance is saying here, and how much credibility is there behind it?
Oh, okay. So I would say I'm not talking about the credibility. I do not believe when the credibility based on the education and how many degrees or how many years, even years working in the field. I believe this intelligence could come out instant, like Terrance mentioned from the gift of divine. Is that right?
Yeah.
Something, and instantly, like me working in physics field for decades. I just
On
gotta
around.
recognize.
He ain't saying
there's
on
some-
whether he agree with him or not. Now, listen, he ain't say he was full of shit neither. Let's listen.
in Terrance's interview, he mentioned about something fundamental wrong with current physics, which I actually agree with.
What's that?
Okay, let me first talk about the first thing. The first thing, talking about the fundamental wrong, this is a secret to current physical community, is something we get wrong by we made electron model wrong. This is electron is elementary particles. In physics, is found that elementary particle cannot be subdivided, do not have another detailed structure or something. And if we get this wrong, and what happens next? So if we get the electron wrong, I will explain why we get it wrong.
I'll record.
If you
Yeah.
have the time,
Yeah, I can help
if you
with
don't
that too.
And then if we get the electron wrong, we get called the planetary atomic model. You know the model with similar model, the planetary with the orbiting free electrons. We get this model wrong. So what I find is there is no free orbiting electrons around the nucleus at near the speed of light forever, constantly. That's completely wrong. So what's the implication of this one? So first, we got the electron wrong, and then we got the model wrong. What happens if this atomic model have no orbiting electrons, no free, called with the principal orbit? Entire quantum mechanics built on this model
Is
were
wrong,
completely out of water.
because their foundation on the electron, their view of the electron, they saw it as a particle, as an individual thing, when it's an entire cloud. It's an energy, it's a wave of energy. That's what the electron is. It's the discharge coming from accumulated electrical potential, the discharge electricity, to devitalize electricity.
Now, people was riding this man, say he sounds crazy. I don't know. He don't sound crazy to me. I ain't saying I fully understand 100% what he's saying. Don't get me wrong. But he's talking to a professional right now, right? Someone who works for NASA, someone who's in his profession. And he just doesn't sound crazy, y'all. I'm sorry.
is what we're calling this electron or this magnetism, and they're seeing it as a particle when it's just a waveform. It's a pressure condition. It's a resonant thing that can be manipulated by other frequencies, that you don't need actual force, but you can create the conditions to change and affect a waveform.
What are you going to show something? You brought some props.
I'm going to expand my statement, say why we get the electron and why it's so significant.
Okay.
So I believe from the 1785, the French physicist Coulomb proposed the Coulomb's law. It says there are two types of charges. One is negative, one is positive.
Mm-hmm.
And the like charge repel, unlike charge attract. This is a fundamental law. It's a great discovery. However,
it's wrong.
The mistake, he described the two charges carried by two separate particles.
Instead of having everything being both positive, having both attractive and detractive things, it's a dipole. It's not a monopole. And the way they're seeing it, how can something? This is something that always got me. How can you say something is charged, positively charged? How can it be negatively charged? How can you negatively charge something? A negative charge is a discharge. Means that it's coming out of it in comparison to attracting into it. Really? So their entire terms of a negatively charged particle is wrong. It's a discharging particle.
Can let me strengthen your idea?
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is a brilliant, a discovery and the root cause of our physics. So now
he said,
people would say, how do you know how can we get the electron wrong?
If you enter this type of stuff, listen to it. He said, this is a brilliant discovery. This is a professional now. This is a professional. The interview is like 2 hours long. I watched the whole thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. I watched the whole thing. I was locked in.
The interpretations are needed to be rewritten. So let's assuming electron is negative charge and proton is a positive charge. Now, what happens if we split electron into two halves? Hypothetically split, geometrically split. What do we get? Two negative charge particles?
Negative charge particles that come together and make a positive.
Can we put the two negative charge particles together?
No. Negative things are always going to push each other away. They're always going to push. They're always going to push each other away.
Violate Coulomb's law. So it cannot exist in this universe, or if there's other universe.
It cannot. And think about Kirchhoff's law regarding the black body. Now, this is where Planck. If you could look up Kirchhoff. This is where the Planck model came from. Max Planck was working off of his model, and part of the radiation from Kirchhoff's law was that a black body, it's always going to radiate into these individual cavities, and these cavities are not going to be dependent on the temperature.
I don't know, man. If y'all get a chance, y'all check this out. I'm gonna do some more reviews. But they tried to say Terrance was just talking out the side of his neck. Now he's with a professional. The professional or the scholar or the academic, whatever you want to call it, he said that this was a brilliant discovery. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm inclined to believe Terrance Howard. I mean, that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know.